Let's bring in Michael Hanlon, Senior Fellow and Director of Research and Foreign Policy at the Brookings Institution. Michael, welcome back to Faith Nation. Well, even as ceasefire talks move forward, Israel is still carrying out airstrikes in Gaza targeting Hamas strongholds. But with Hamas deeply embedded in civilian areas, Michael, can Israel really destroy the group using conventional military forces? Does that require some different kind of strategy?
Yeah, thank you. I don't believe that Israel's strategy makes sense at this point. I understand Israel doesn't want to sign a ceasefire with the very group that carried out October 7th. And yet Israel has decimated the top leadership. And as you say, it's not going to be able to destroy each and every person who might call themselves Hamas next year, even if they haven't joined yet. So what Israel really needs, I believe, is a more comprehensive effort to restore security, really block by block within Gaza. I've heard ideas expressed that would involve creating limited areas that require biometric identification for entry, that are secured in their ingress and egress points by Israelis, that you gradually build up an Arab and Palestinian force over time to provide security. And then you just keep doing that process. Because unlike some of the things the United States did in the surge in Iraq under General Petraeus and others, the Israelis are not yet developing a strategy for how to hold on to whatever progress they make. And you can't kill every terrorist because you can't kill tomorrow's would-be recruit. And so when we went after al-Qaeda after 9/11, we made sure we decimated several layers of leadership, but we did not have any illusion about being able to destroy literally the entire group. I think Israel's going to have to rethink this.
You know, while the Gaza crisis is still unfolding, we look to another major flashpoint, which is testing U.S. foreign policy, and that's Ukraine. This week, President Trump offered his sharpest criticism yet of Vladimir Putin and promised to send more military aid to Kyiv. How do you read this shift in tone?
I think President Trump is absolutely correct, but I think he needs to do more with policy, not just with language. As you point out, we are now releasing, or it appears, some additional shipments of weaponry. But I think President Trump needs to do several things to put more pressure and put time pressure on Vladimir Putin, starting with requesting a modest additional aid package for Ukraine from the U.S. Congress. I know this is against a lot of the MAGA movement. It doesn't have to be as big as last year's $61 billion aid package, but it needs to be enough to show continued U.S. resolve and taking Ukraine's side in this conflict. I also think our European friends should start taking some of those frozen Russian assets in their banks and taking about $10 billion a month and giving that to Ukraine to put time pressure on Putin. If he doesn't want to lose all $300 billion of those assets, well, he's got to agree to a ceasefire. And then they'll stop giving the money to Ukraine. So these kinds of ideas, I think, are needed, but by both Americans and Europeans, to create more pressure on Putin. He's just not feeling enough of the heat yet.
A coordinated pressure campaign. Michael Hanlon with Brookings Institution. We always appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you so much.